Hey everyone, Mal and Marisha here, and we are ready to go live on our Facebook ads, Facebook, YouTube Live. Normally I do these by webinar on Zoom, and yeah, we're just trying Facebook today and see if we get a great response, and if we do, I'll do more of them. If we don't, then I won't do any more for you guys. So, looking forward to interacting with you. Now, if you are out there and you're listening, then just type in the comments as we go. I'd love to hear your feedback. But today is for me to really talk about the strategy around Facebook and how you can generate leads on Facebook for a web design business. Now, if it's a web design business that you have, this works. But if it's a consulting, a coaching, a business where you have a service and it's a high ticket value service like accounting, solicitor, attorney, all of those kind of service-based high ticket item businesses, this works as well. And so as we're going through this, I want you to think about your business and think about how can you generate leads through Facebook that actually convert. And that's the key here. So many people run Facebook ads and they never get a return on investment. They kind of run an ad that is built to brand their business or built to get a sale, but not built to actually get a lead. And so if you go for the sale straight away, you are pretty much going to fail if you have a web design business or a service-based business. Facebook isn't the type of place where people go to actually buy something. They go to hang out, they go to spend time, they go to look and spy on their friends, they go to see some cute cat videos, but they don't go to buy something. Now, does that mean Facebook is not a good place to get leads? Facebook is an amazing place to get leads because of what I just said, because people are going there to hang out, because they're spending at least an hour a day on Facebook, the average person. And so when you have someone dedicated to a platform and on their phone and always checking it, you can put an ad in front of that person who, and that person is attentive, right? They've got their phone, they're looking at it, they're scrolling, they're at the train station, they're watching their kids' soccer game, they are, just hanging around, they're at the work, they're at the lunch break, and they're really engaged in this phone. And if you put an ad in front of them, you have their full attention. The trick is to get their attention, and the trick is not to go for the jugular. It's not to go for the sale. It's actually to go for the relationship and to capture their contact details so you can build a relationship. And if you take this approach, then you can generate an unlimited amount of leads on Facebook for your web design business. If you don't take this approach, then you're going to be one of the masses who kind of run ads, don't get a return, and then say, well, Facebook doesn't work. Well, I've proved to myself and to my clients that Facebook does work. But it works when you have a clear strategy that can actually get a result. If you have a strategy that doesn't, can actually never get a result, can never achieve the outcome that you desire, then you will never be able to get that result. And that's the problem. You have to start with the end in mind. And if you start with the end in mind, then you're able to actually get the end, right? So the end in mind needs to be a sale. And if you don't start with the end in mind, then you'll never reach that end. It's like, what was it? The author that wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the habits was start with the end in mind. And it's a very powerful, this Steve Covey, okay? So Stephen Covey, he was a psychologist and he had these 7 principles in life. Actually, I'm going to read that book again. It's a great book. I read it many, many years ago. But one of the 7, only 7 principles to be successful, right? And one of them was start with the end in mind. Figure out what you want to have at the end and then work your way back. And on Facebook ads, you have to do the same thing. So let's jump off to the iPad here, and let's just start a new one. So let's just say that the end in mind for you is a sale or a new client, right? What you need to do is then work backwards on Facebook. And this is not just Facebook, this is any marketing strategy really that you implement. And so what's the next step back? So we're working backwards now, okay? And as we're going, if you've got any questions, type them into the comments or like or whatever. I'll notice you, and then we can I can answer it for you. Okay. So starting with the end in mind, if you want a sale, a web design sale, what's the step before that? Well, the step before that is a meeting. Okay. And typically it's at least 2 meetings. I call the first one a strategy call, and it's normally a 30-minute meeting. And the next one I call a delivery meeting, and that's normally 1 hour. Okay, so a short one and then a longer meeting to actually deliver the proposal. What's before that? Before that, you've actually got to warm someone up, get them ready to actually book the meeting in. And we call this nurture. But there's many things you can do to nurture someone to get them ready, because typically someone will, they might come to your website at the very beginning or see a Facebook ad. And then what you have to do, so this is where you attract them. And then you need to capture. And then you need to nurture. So if you look here, they come and you attract, then you capture their details, then you nurture them, then you book in a meeting, and then you make the sale, right? So that is the path you have to go down. So with a Facebook ad, most of you start here with a Facebook ad. You have a great start. And then somewhere along here is where it all breaks down, right? You haven't prepared for any of this. And you just want to go from here to here. And that's just not going to happen. It's just not how the world works. The world is a very logical place. Advertising is very logical. And if you want to put some sort of illogical structure that doesn't logically make sense and can't actually be achieved over an amazing platform like Facebook, you're just not going to get the results. And that's where so many of you are. And so if you look here, you can see that I've put a logical structure in place where we go from attract to capture to nurture to meeting and then to a sale. Now, you'll notice that this first section here, this first section here, it's actually quite detached from the rest of it. So the Facebook section is very much detached from, if we look here, the meeting section and from the sales section. The nurture, the capture is quite detached. That's done on your website somewhere. The nurture does involve some Facebook ads. We're going to get into this, okay? But there are other components of your Facebook ad campaign that you need to get right if you want to make this thing work, okay? And so if you don't have those in place, then the Facebook ads campaign isn't going to work. Okay, so let's get stuck into it. Do you want to see how to make this actual campaign work? Well, let's flick over here and let's use this. Okay, so there are kind of 6 stages you need to use to get a Facebook ads campaign to actually work for you. And let's start from the bottom. The first thing you need to do is you need to identify your perfect prospect. Next, you need to find them. Then you need to create an offer that attracts them. Then you need to capture their contact details. Then you need to nurture. and finally you need to convert. Okay, and I guess the convert is kind of like the holy grail. Okay, this is where everyone wants to be, but very few people are when it comes to Facebook ads. All right, so let's go through these in detail and really try and figure out how do you make a Facebook ads campaign work, work for your business and your web design business. So let's have a look at here. When it comes to identify, what we want to do is there are three components you have to get right when you identify your prospect. Making sure that an ad works starts with everything not Facebook. This is the other thing. When you run a Facebook ads campaign, typically when people start, they open up Facebook Ads Manager and they create a campaign and an ad set and an ad, and they're not really sure what they're doing, but they kind of just go straight to the ad and they get an image and they get a headline and they get an offer. And they think, well, if I do that and set the campaign up properly, then I'm going to be successful. But the reality is you're not going to be successful if you go straight to the ads manager. You need to do a whole bunch of work before that to understand your prospect, to get into their mindset. So the first thing you need to do is you really need to understand who's your prospect. And once you identify who they are, like, are they in a niche? Are they a builder? Are they a tradesperson? Are they an attorney? And then once you identify who they are, who you want to attract, you need to then really look and say, well, what's their pain point? What are the pain points? And you need to list a whole bunch of pain points for this prospect, as many as you can. And you need to keep going. And you need to keep going and write as many pain points as you can. And if you can do that, one of these pain points, so what will happen is one of them, we might take this one here, and that is what we create an ad out of. Or we might take this one here, and that is what we create an ad out of. Because every single ad that you create should be based on a pain point. Shouldn't be based on you. It shouldn't be, do you need a website? It should be, are you a builder that needs more leads? Are you an attorney that needs to get your name out there? Are you a business coach that nobody knows about? That's the pain point. Do you need more sales in your business? You start with the end in mind. Now we're starting with our end in mind. What's their end in mind? And we need to say, what's a pain point that they have, and how can we solve that pain point? That becomes your ad. There is a great quote by a psychologist called Wyatt Woodsmore. And Wyatt has got an amazing statement that I have based all of my marketing on for many years now. It basically says this. He says, if you can articulate someone's problem better than they can, they'll automatically and unconsciously credit you with having the solution. So hear that again. If you can articulate someone's problem better than they can, they'll automatically and unconsciously credit you with having the solution. And that's what a Facebook ad is. When we're talking about writing an ad now, the ad should describe the problem that your prospect has so well that they say to themselves, they understand my problem better than I understand the problem. And if you can do that, they will automatically and unconsciously credit you with having the solution. Our brains, when we hear someone describe our problem, our brains automatically default to they must have the solution. You can't possibly know the problem as well as they know it without knowing the solution. That's how we think as human beings. And that's how doctors get so much credibility. A doctor will typically say, when you lift your arm, does it hurt? Yep. And when I press here, does it hurt? Yep. And when you twist here, does it hurt? Yep. Every time they ask you a question and you answer it, you think, he knows the answer. He's going to figure this out, or she's going to figure this out. The reality is, the older I get, I realize doctors have no idea. Really, all they're doing is trying to figure out what it's not, and then they have a guess at what it is, and they try and fix it, and they realize it's not that, so let's try something else. and doctors have so much credibility in our minds because they ask the right questions, and they have a way of describing our problem and understanding it better than we do, But even underneath that, they still don't really know a lot of the time what the issue is. They're just knocking things off. They're saying it could be this, this, or this in their head. Let's try this one. Whoop, that didn't work. Let's try this one. Whoop, that didn't work. Let's try this one. Ah, that one kind of works. Okay? So we need to become the doctor or the surgeon of our client. Where in our Facebook ads, we articulate their problem so well in the ad. We say, are you a builder who's struggling to get leads from Google ads and Facebook ads, and your website is absolutely useless? You've got no leads through your website, but you've paid all this money for it. Are you frustrated? Are you stressed that nothing's working? Well, if you are, then we talk about the solution. But first we have to identify the pain and then build the pain and build the pain and build the pain. You know, a good example is if you have a kindergarten, right? Just say you have a kindergarten, you deal with kids under 5 before they go to school. A good ad for a kindergarten is this. Are you a mother who wants their child to read? No, actually, let's do it this way. The ad would say this. Are you a mother who wants to give their child the best start in life? There we go. We've identified the prospect and we've highlighted a pain point. The pain is they want their child to do best in life, really well in life, but it's a tough world out there, right? So are you a mother who wants to give their child the best start in life? Okay. The best way is to get them reading before they enter school. The problem is that your little 5-year-old probably doesn't want to learn to read, and it causes stress in the home. And then you know they need it, but they don't because they're a child, and so you get stressed and they get stressed, and the home life is kind of upside down, right? So we've identified the pain and we've built the pain. So now we can talk about the solution, okay? And that is the third thing here. We need to talk about the offer in the ad, okay? And the offer is this for that example. Wouldn't it be great if we could if someone else could teach your child to read without you having the stress? Well, at Mary Jo's kindergarten, our number one priority is to have children read before they enter school without stressing out the parents. Like, that is an amazing Facebook ad. If you're a mother with a kid under 5 and you want to give them the best start in life and you've thought about teaching them to read to give them a head start and you're stressed because this kid doesn't want to read, the best solution, the best offer is to send them to Mary Jo's kindergarten so they can actually go and someone else can take the stress and teach them to read. And you can rest assured every night when you put your head on the pillow that that child is going to have the best start in school. Can you see that? If you're on the live stream, just type in if you can see what I'm saying. If you can see, that makes sense. That's something that maybe I need to start doing or I'm not doing in my Facebook ads. Yeah, the reality is most Facebook ads don't read like that, okay? And then the last part of the Facebook ad is you need to have a call to action, right? Call to action. And so a call to action is the next step. The next step the client should take to engage with your company, with your web design business. And the reality is, it's not book a call. It's just not. Sometimes it is, but it's very expensive. It's basically join a webinar, download an ebook, and that's where it comes to the offer. So what are the offers that you can offer people in an ad? What should you be offering them? Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Let's have a look here. All right, so there's a whole bunch of stuff. One is ebook. You can offer an ebook. You can offer a video they can watch. You can offer a webinar. What else? You can offer an appointment, but typically you'll offer that to a warm or hot audience, not a cold audience. But the ones that I've done the best with over the years Oh, you can do like a cheat sheet. Ones that I've done the best with over the years is the cheat sheet, the ebook, the webinar. Okay? And the reason why is a cheat sheet is like a 2 to 3 minute read. It's something they can just look at and they can get high value from. And people look at those and they think, wow, if I download that, then I can get a lot of value in a short amount of time. And so going back to this kindergarten, the offer might be, so we finished up the ad, we told them that we help, and then we say, we've distilled the 6 points, the 6 ways to teach a child to read under the age of 5 without stressing out the family. Click here to download the ebook. That's the offer. For you, it might be, as a web designer, it might be, we've distilled the 8 features every homepage should have to increase the conversion rate by 10%, 20%, 30%, 50%, whatever it is. But what we have to do is create, it has to be an irresistible offer, right? It has to be something that the client just has to have. They just have to have it. You don't want to create an offer that they're like, that's okay. Like, it's nice. I'd like to have it. Yeah. No, it's got to be, I just have to have it. I just have to have that. And so all they have to do is exchange their phone, name, and email address for that offer. Okay? And that is super important. Always go for the phone number. I haven't run an ad in the last 5 years that I have not asked for the phone number. Years ago, I know people would say, don't ask for the phone number because it'll decrease the conversion rate. Don't ask for the name, it'll decrease the email address. I don't want email addresses in my database. I have a real business that I'm trying to run. I don't have this business out in the ether that doesn't need sales. I have a business that needs sales. And can I just tell you, the quickest way to get a sale is to capture a phone number, an email address from a lead magnet that you give away and call that person in 5 minutes of getting a call. Yes, there will be a whole bunch of people that are not ready to buy, probably not in your target market. It was a mistake that they downloaded, or they're not interested, right? They're a bit standoffish. But the reality is, if you get 100 people to download an ebook, 2 or 3 of those people will buy your website. Your job is to sift through those to get to the 2 or 3. Now, if you're happy to wait 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a year to find those 2 to 3 people, or you're happy for 2 of them to go to your competitor because you never called, then that's fine. That's on you. But for me, in my business, if I get a lead, I want to get those people on the phone call as quickly as possible so I can actually make a sale, sell a website. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So that's the offer. The offer has to be irresistible. The next thing you've got to do is you've got to find them, right? You've got to find people on Facebook. So how do you find people on Facebook? Well, there's many, many, many ways to find people on Facebook. There's detailed targeting, which is the easiest way to get started, okay? So detailed targeting is when you go and you say, I want to show my ad to anyone who's a business owner, anyone who likes Gary Vee, anyone who likes HubSpot or ActiveCampaign, right? That's the first way of doing it. And that actually is the least effective way of targeting on Facebook, okay? But it's the easiest way. Another way is website visitors. And this is where you put a pixel, a Facebook pixel on your website, and anyone who visits your website, Facebook sends a message back to Facebook and says, John just visited Marlon's website, put him in a list. And then that list is invisible to me, I can't see it, but what I can do is show ads to people in that list. So I can say, show an ad to anyone who visited the whole of my website, Web Design Profits, or show an ad to people who only visited the webinar page, or only visited the confirmation page for the webinar means they signed up for the webinar. Show ads to them to remind them to turn up to the webinar. Very, very powerful audience. Another one is email list. So you can show ads, you can export your email list with all your contact data, import it into Facebook, and then show ads to those people. That's a very powerful audience because those people are in your database, right? They may not be clients, but they know, like, and trust you because they actually submitted their details. They've read an ebook, maybe visited a webinar, and you can show ads to them. Now, what type of ads would you show to those people? You would show ads asking them to book a call. Once you've got them into your database, you then show a different type of ad. It's a second ad. You know, you've got a few types of ads. You've got the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. The top of the funnel is a cold audience. This is a warm audience, and this is a hot audience. This one you show ebooks to. This one you show webinars to. And this one you show book an appointment to. So what we're talking about today mainly is how do you get people into the database? And then once you've done that, the first thing you do is, once you've accomplished that goal here, got them in the database, then you start showing them something like a webinar, or you can even do an appointment here. You could move the appointment up to there. And basically for guys starting out and girls starting out, what I say is just do that. Don't do the webinar, just do the appointment. Once they're in your database, show an ad to book an appointment in your calendar, okay? So that's the second thing that you can do. The third thing, email list. The next one is, let's have a look here. So, yeah, website, data, custom, yeah. Okay, so the other thing is video audiences. So anyone who watches a certain percentage of your video, we can show ads to. Anyone who likes your page, interacts with your page, we can show ads to. And there's a few more. But what I want you to know is these audiences here are amazing because you can also create lookalike audiences off them. So what's a lookalike audience? A lookalike audience is saying, what's 1% of the United States population, or the Australian population, or the population of the United Kingdom that look just like the people who have visited my website? Or what's 1% of the Australian population? Sorry about that, guys. I just did that whole section where you didn't see it. So here's the, it was amazing, and unfortunately didn't see it. But this is the top of the funnel, middle and bottom. There's the cold, warm, and hot, and there is the different offers you give them. Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, here, I was just saying that there is detailed targeting. We talked about here. There's website visitor audience, an email list, a video, and Facebook page. We can create audiences of people who went to your Facebook page or liked it, people who watched a certain percentage of the video, people who are on your email list, and people who visited your website. Then you can create a lookalike audience. So you could say, show ads to people who look like people on my email list, or look like people who watch my video, or look like people who like my page. This is a very powerful cold audience. It's not a warm audience, it's a cold audience. So now you get, in America, I think you get 2.4 million people. It's 1% of the US population on Facebook. So 2.4 million people who look just like the people who visited your website or are on your email list. And that's a nice audience that actually is much better than detailed targeting. Much better than detailed targeting audience, okay? Okay, all right. So that's how you find. So we've done how to identify, how to find, and how to create a compelling offer that people actually want. The next thing is to capture. And so capturing is so important. We've gone through this already. I always say you got to get a phone number, email, and then the name. And the reason you want to do this is because you want to build a relationship. When someone's on Facebook or on Google Ads, or they come to your website, you don't really know much about them. They don't know much about you, and they are in control of the relationship. They can leave anytime they want, but when you capture the email address, then you're able to nurture them. You're able to go to the next stage here and really build a relationship with them. And how do you build a relationship? Well, typically you'll do it through email. You'll do it through SMS. You'll do it through Facebook ads retargeting. Remember we just spoke about that? How you can say, show an ad to people who are my website visitors on my email list, watched a video or liked my page, okay? And so website retargeting, and let's have a look here. Yeah, oh, the other one is Messenger, Facebook Messenger. If you get them on Messenger, it's a great way of nurturing people and getting them into an appointment, okay? So at the moment, Messenger's working very, very well for me. So basically I get people, there's another one where you can nurture is you get them into a Facebook group. So you find them on Facebook, you get them to download an ebook, then you say, hey, message me if you want this extra thing, like an extra video. So you give them the ebook for free, then you make a video where you explain the ebook and you say, if you want this extra ebook, just send me a message. When they send you a message, you say, hey, the video is in our Facebook group. And in the group, you'll find the video, and then they join your Facebook group. And now you can nurture those people, okay? And so Facebook group's good. It is advanced. It is something that is quite advanced, and I'm not sure if it's a good place to start, but it's definitely something you can do. The ones what I would start is definitely email, definitely SMS, and definitely Facebook retargeting, okay? So I'll just put a bit of a line through that, okay? Messenger's good, but again, it's a bit of an advanced thing, all right? And then finally, once we've climbed up, we're gonna move to convert, okay? And with convert, we basically have, we ask to book an appointment. So I typically get people to book through Calendly in my calendar. And then I have a strategy call, which I talked about before, which is a 30-minute meeting. And then if they qualify, I then book them into a delivery meeting where I deliver the proposal, and that's a 1-hour meeting. And these are done over Zoom, okay? Because most of my clients are in the United States based, and I live in Australia. And so I don't get to meet people one-on-one. I do everything over Zoom. It's been amazing for me. And so, yeah. So that is how I get Facebook to work. So what I've talked to you today about is the theory. Can I just say that I started out today and I said to you that getting Facebook ads to work, there's a lot of work up front you have to do. And I really mean that. I have a Facebook ads course that I have sold in the past, and I've done quite a bit of work with small business owners. And the thing about that course is it takes them, the course is like 8 weeks, but for the first 6 weeks, they haven't touched Facebook. Now, the first 6 weeks is all of this stuff, all of trying to understand who's my perfect prospect. Who's my perfect prospect? How will I find them on Facebook? What's the perfect offer to actually give them? How will I capture? When I get the lead, how will I convert and build out all these sequences? And then when I do get them to convert, what's my process to convert them off Facebook? And once all of that's done, then we create our first Facebook ad. To me, if you don't understand this, if you don't understand how important this work is, don't do Facebook ads to get web design leads or to get any leads. Just don't. It's just a total waste of time. Because if you don't have this insight, the ad that I build, so the Facebook ad that people will see on Facebook, there's a headline there, there's a button there, and there's a whole bunch of comments underneath, okay? So this ad, everything from here, all this information has been pushed into this ad. And I take, everything I know about the prospect, the pain point, the offer, I put it into the ad. Then I figure out where am I going to show the ad, and I put that into the ad. Then I figure out, okay, what kind of offer am I actually going to give? And that's the call to action on the ad. And then when they go to the landing page, I figure out, okay, I've got to get their email address here. And so that goes onto the landing page of the ad. Then I have to figure out a way, okay, once I get that lead, that's not a sale, that's a lead. What am I going to do to nurture these people and get them onto a phone call with me? And then how am I going to convert them? What's my rock solid strategy? And let me just show you one more thing before we wrap up. So if there's any questions, now I'm not sure if you guys are asking questions. I am on a platform other than Facebook, and I'll just might load Facebook up. But I want to show you one more thing before I finish. And hopefully this will really help you understand how you can grow your business using Facebook. And this is a serious game. Facebook is serious. It's not a toy. It's not something that you dabble with and you play with. It's something that really, really works. And if you are, I guess if you are looking at it as something to dabble in, then when you look at what I've just shown you, you're like, wow, that's way too much, Marlon. But if you're serious about growing your business, and which I have in a different country using purely Facebook ads, if you're serious about that, then you need to understand this stuff. Okay. Let's just have a look here. All right, just looking for questions. Okay, so the last thing I want to leave you with is this. It's called the 5 Ones. And this was, I learned this off a great coach called Taki Moore. Okay, Taki Moore, and he really articulated something well that really has resonated with me for a very long time, and it has really helped me build my business, and I want to share it with you. The first thing is there's 5 things you need to do to be successful over the next 12 months, okay? 5 things. The first thing is you need to pick a perfect prospect. A prospect that you want to work with and you think you can get a result for, okay? And then you need to create an offer. So one prospect, one offer. And this offer, this website that you build is going to get them the result that they're looking for. If that offer is not strong, if it's not something that that will get a result, you're going to find it very hard to sell it to them. So you've got to create an offer that's compelling for your prospect. And one prospect, who are they? What industry are they in? And what's the problem that they have? The next thing is you have to figure out how to get traffic. How do you get that prospect or get in front of that prospect? What's your traffic source? Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Google Ads? Is it networking? Doesn't have to be online. Is it partnerships? What you need to do is choose one traffic source, just one, okay? And then you need to choose a conversion tool that you know and you get better at every single day. So every day you're getting better and better and better at converting, okay? And so for me, it's my 2-step close. It's my strategy call, which is a 30-minute call. I'm getting so good at that call. And then it's my delivery meeting where in an hour I deliver the proposal and ask them to purchase, okay? That's my conversion tool. So just so you know, for me, my one is a high ticket service-based business. All right. My offer is a sales-driven website. I know I can get results from my client when I deliver that site. My traffic source is Facebook, and my conversion tool is my 2-step Zoom call. Okay? All right. And then the last thing that you need to do is to do it all for 1 year. 1 year. Do not deviate. Do not stray. Do not get distracted by TikTok. Do not go to another marketing guru who's showing you a new strategy that they used 10 years ago that they're teaching today still. or the latest tactic that they learned off another guru that they're teaching now that they've never done before. Don't, you know, don't find another prospect. Don't change prospects. Don't change. Don't change your offer. Don't find another one, another traffic source. And don't say, okay, now I'm going to move to webinars every few weeks, change something else. And don't do it for like 2 weeks and then give up. Don't do that. And if you can do that, that's the 5 ones. 1 prospect, 1 offer, 1 traffic source, 1 conversion tool, and do it all for 1 year, and do not stop. Do not change. Get really good. And when things are looking bad and the ads aren't working and you're getting people on calls and they're not buying, you don't stop. You just improve. You look at that section. What you might have to do is you might realize that, everything's working except your conversion's not working. You're getting people on calls, but you can't convert them. So what do? Do you give up? Do you change? No. You just get better. You get help to get better at doing the call. You might realize that, you've got your prospect, your offer's good. When you get them on the conversion call, it works. But now your traffic's a problem. You're not getting enough people, right? So Facebook just isn't getting enough people onto the call. So what do? You fix your Facebook part of the campaign, okay? But you just keep doing it for a year. And after a year, when you've got the whole thing perfected, then you can say, okay, let's change our prospect and work with another prospect with the same funnel. Or maybe we change the offer. Or maybe we change the traffic source and use the same funnel. Maybe we change, instead of doing a 2-step call, we do a webinar. But we don't do that until it all works, okay? So that's kind of it for today. That's my advice to you. Number 1, do the 5 ones. If you're part of the Profitable Web Designer group, you'll see I'll keep referring to this. This is the one thing that I can tell you that I know you can do without me having to be there with you. It's focus. Do the 5 ones. Focus will get you so much further than trying to do everything. Focus and doing stuff at 70%, not 100, just 70%, but being consistently focused on the same thing day after day, week after week, month after month. That will help you have marketing success, even if it's not perfect. But when you drop and chop and change every 2 to 3 weeks, you'll never be successful. And then if you look here, this is what we talked about to run Facebook ads. This is the 80% of the work you have to do before you even open up the ads manager and create your first ad. You've got to do this. If you don't do this, give up. Stop. Don't do it. I've run too many ads over the years. I've coached too many people to see that when this work doesn't get done, the ads never work. Now, you may be lucky. You may be the 5% where you just put an ad out and it works. That's great. I don't want to be part of that 5% because I can't replicate that the next time, because the next time I won't be lucky. So let's do this work and let's get it right. So in the Facebook group or below this, just ask any questions you've got. Love to help you out. And I hope that you try Facebook ads. I hope that you try it properly. I hope that you use this methodology. And can I just say that my business has grown purely through Facebook ads in the US. So I've got a business in Australia. Like I get work in Australia, and that's all done through. I get a lot of referral and people that I know. And the US, I'm not there, and so most of my client base is there, and that's purely been through Facebook ads. So I want to make an offer to you, and this is the offer. If you are a web designer and you want to scale your business out and you want to grow your business and you want to get more leads and you want to convert more leads and you want to figure out how to deliver better, more efficiently, you don't want to have the delivery a problem in your business, then I want to offer a 15-minute scale session with you. And basically that session is where you and I will get on a call and we will basically brainstorm 3 ideas or strategies that you can implement in the next 90 days to double your prices and get more leads. I know, I've worked with so many web designers, that it's pretty easy to double your prices if you do certain things well. So most web designers are charging way too little in their head. They're like, I should be charging more. You can charge more. It's the way you're selling yourself. So we tackle that issue. The nest issue we'll tackle is lead gen. what are the strategies that I use in my business, and I'll map that to your business and say maybe you could use this one or this one, depending on your risk, how risky you are, how good you are at risk, and how much work you want to put in, how much money you want to pay. That's how we choose the different strategies. So so that's my recommendation. Booking the strategy call. Now, somewhere around here, if you go to webdesignprofits.co, webdesignprofits.co, in the top right-hand corner of my website, there'll be a button to book a scale session. Click it, book it. I'll probably put it underneath the video. Maybe I won't. But look, at the end of the day, just find it. If you look a little bit, you'll find a place on my website where you can book a scale session. I'd love to have that chat with you. Love to talk about Facebook ads. And look, I just think that web design is the best industry in the world. And but you've got to run it like a business. You can't run it like a creative. You can't run it like someone who doesn't understand business and doesn't want to know about business. If you do, you'll continue to struggle. But if you have a business mind in an amazing industry, you can really grow your business. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got lots out of it, and look forward to interacting with you more on the group. And just with the group, ask questions, right? If you've got questions around the business side, ask questions. I look forward to chatting to you soon. Bye.